In this video, we will talk about the ArrayList class. So we have covered arrays before, and we have the problem with arrays is that they are fixed size. So once you declare an array with a certain size and you fill it out, then you cannot add any more items, but you will have to create one more array that's larger and then copy all the elements. Array lists, on the other hand, have variable size, so you will be able to add how many elements you would like. It will not just fill out and then you create another one just like arrays. The general syntax to create an array list is starting with the keyword array list, and then we will specify the data type, we will give it a name, and that is going to be equal to a new array list. But we will need to import java.util.ArrayList. Let's just go ahead and create a simple array list, and let's add some elements to it. So I created a class, I called it ArrayList demo. It has just a main method. So let me create an empty array list. So I'll say array list, and this array list is going to be of type string in this case, and I will call this friends, for example, and that is equal to new array list, and it is going to be an empty array list for the moment. Now I still get those errors because I need to import array list, and I just did, and now I don't have any errors. Now I have my empty array list in here. What can we do with this array list? Let's look and see. So I have included some methods here. So the first one is add, which is going to allow you to add an object, and you can add with the index, specify where you want to add your object. We have get, which will return the object as a specific index. We have remove, that is going to take out the object at that specific index, and we have remove with object, which is going to look for that object and remove it. And whenever you remove an object from the array list, so supposing that we removed an object in the middle, all the objects that come after this object will shift to that new position. So supposing that that object was at index 2, let's say, objects from index 3 and up will be shifted by -1 to accommodate for that empty space. We also have contains, which is going to look if that array list is containing that object. Clear, which will remove all objects. Now we have a set method that is going to replace the object at a specific index with another one. We have size, that is going to tell me how many elements are in my array list. Is empty, is going to check if the array list is empty or not, and the iterator is going to iterate over the array list. So let's test these out and let's see. We'll start with adding something to the array list. So I might not go over all of those methods. I will just go over some of them, and you can test out the rest of the methods. So to add anything, you will need the name of your array list, and then you will follow to the dot, and then I'll say add, and in here what I will do is I will provide an object. The object has to be the same type of the array list. In this case, it's got to be a string, so I'll add Bob to my list of friends. I will also add another friend that is, let's say, John. And let me add one more friend. Let me call that friend Mary. Now, from what we've seen, if we want to retrieve something, it's going to be get. So let me just create a simple method here that is going to loop over my array list, and that is going to print whatever elements are in the array list. So public static, and then let me have it as void because it's just going to print. I want to call it print it is going to take an array list as its input, so the array list is going to be A in this case. And then what I will do is for an integer I that is set to 0, and as long as I is less than the size of my array list, I want to keep printing. So I'll say I is less than A dot size, and then I plus plus. And what I will do here, I cannot just specify it by saying A at I, because this is not an array. So what I will do is I will go ahead and print A dot get whatever is at that index. So remember, get is going to give you that element. And if I do it like here, so for example, system.out.println friends dot get, and then let me just say 0. Now this should give me Bob. As we can see right here. So what I'm doing is I'm printing everything else. So let me just replace this with print, and then I will say friends okay, I might have misspelled it. Okay, so if I click this right now, it's going to print everything inside my array list. Now let's try to use another type of method. So let me just do the following. I will say friends dot add, and then I want to add something else. So I want to add it, but at a specific index. So let me just say at index 1, add something. I will call it friend 1 just to see where it goes. And now I have it here. So everything got shifted. It did not replace John. So how can I replace it? If I want to change this, what I will do is I will just say set instead of add. And this is going to change it instead of shifting that friend. So let's just see what else we can use. We can use remove. So friends dot remove. Now with remove, you can just remove at a specific index. So remove the one at 1, and I can just go ahead and remove it. And this is removing by specifying the index of the element I want to remove. Now keep in mind that I can just go ahead and specify the object itself. So I can just take this out and say I want to remove John, which is going to give me the same result that I got. Now if I did something else like this, which is not an object, and I run it, it's not going to give me anything because it's not going to change anything, and it's not going to give me any error in there, and that is totally fine. So let's look at size. I mean, we have seen size already right here, which is going to return the size again, but let's just print it. So system.out.println, and then friends.size, and this is going to tell me how big is my array list. And again, is empty is going to return true or false based on that array list being empty or not. So let me just keep it here. Let me just print it here somewhere. And it's going to be friends dot is empty. Now if I run this, it's going to tell me false because it's not empty, and then it's got 3. What if I do the following? Friends dot clear. Now let's run it. See, now is empty is true, and the size of friends now is 0 because I don't have any friends inside my array list. Now, another interesting way to create an array list would be the following. So let me just take these prints out, and let me just comment this and say another way to create an array list. So suppose that I have an array. So let me just have an array right here, and let's just make it a string array. We can. This will work with every sort of array, but let me just make it a string array again. String array, and let me call it ARR is equal to some string array. So let me call this S1, and then I'll have S2, S3, S4. So I have an array already, and I want to keep adding to this, and I don't care if it's an array or an array list. I just want to move this into an array list so I can have the benefit of having variable size. So what I will do is I will go ahead and start by declaring an array list first. So array list, and my array list is going to be of type string because it is going to hold the strings of that array. So let me call this converted, and this is going to be equal to a new array list, and then I will have inside the parentheses the following. I will say arrays dot, and then as list, and inside here I will provide ARR, which is my array. Now let me try to print this and see, did I get whatever was in the array? Remember, the calling print method is the method that I just created, and say okay. Now I have S1, S2, S3, and S4. So I have all of those elements. Now you will need to import java.util.arrays as well to be able to use this part. The last thing I wanted to cover is the iterator, which is another way to loop over an array list. So we have seen this way to loop over an array list, which is using a for loop with an index I. So what we can do as well is we can use a for loop. So let me take this converted out, the print out, and let me just create another way to print the array list. So I'll say for an iterator, and then let me call it it, for example, that is equal to converted dot, and then I need to create an iterator out of this. This is the iterator method that we had in the slides. And then I will say, okay, as long as my iterator has next, this is what I need to do. And then inside my loop, I don't need this, it just got here from Eclipse. So inside my loop, I will do the following: system.out.println, and inside my print, I need to print the string that I get out of the iterator. So what I will do is I'll have parentheses, and inside the parentheses, I'll say string, and I'll provide my iterator dot next. So this is going to loop over all of my elements in my array list and print them out. So remember, now I'm printing using this loop, not this loop. And if we want to be sure, see, if I say print, it's going to print them right next to each other. because this is the one I'm working with, it's not this one. And this is just another way to be able to loop over the array list. You don't have to print, you can do something else, but you can loop either using this way, which is from an integer I that is set to 0, that is going to go until the size of the array list, or you can just create an iterator, and using that iterator you can iterate over the array list from the beginning to the end. Now the difference is, with this approach you can stop anywhere you want. With this approach, the iterator is going to iterate over your entire array list unless you have some condition to stop it somewhere in the middle.